Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev.
Good morning.
Hey there. Mother's Day is coming.
Yes, it is. Mother's Day, my birthday. Yeah,
We have a Friday the 13th this month.
nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. I think it's
I know,
cool.
I like it. Me too. I think it's super cool.
And I think we have a lunar eclipse also
I heard that as well.
coming.
What's your take on a lunar eclipse?
Personally, I don't notice a whole much of a difference in myself during a lunar eclipse. Energy might be a little higher. A little more clarity maybe.
Yeah.
But I I give more attention to it's the full moon that really gets me
Yeah,
every
and I
single
understand.
month.
Yeah, I
So,
get that too.
yeah. So what's your input on that?
My feeling for this one, because it came up a few days or a week or so ago, was that it's going to be bringing the darkness to light. So we're just in the middle of these processes, and I feel like there's a lot going on energetically. Like there's a lot going on energetically. It's crazy because I was just talking to you. I'm like, well, I'm going to bring up a dream, which is, I find this weird. So I'll see what your process is on it. A couple of nights ago or mornings ago, it was actually, I was looking out my window of my house I'm living at now, and I could see all these tornadoes, and they were black. They were like solid black.
Shut up. Stop it.
Oh God,
Stop
seriously?
it. Go ahead.
We need to settle down right now. But it was like crazy because it was such a blackness, and they were straight up and down. And there were several of them. I couldn't even tell you how many there were, but it's like such a solid blackness. Like you would never see a tornado look like that. And then also in that dream, I was like something was taken out of my nose, and it was like a magazine with a piece of paper all crumpled up inside of it, which is weird. It was almost like something was removed from me, which is strange. So this was just like, I want to say, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday morning. It was pretty, I mean, it was pretty recent. And then I got into a vehicle accident yesterday, and my truck is totaled. Um,
Are you
yeah,
okay?
I'm okay. My neck is sore right now. My mind has been a little bit like, maybe I didn't hit my head, but maybe the jarring of it, because I was in a residential area. So I was doing like maybe 20 miles per hour. Where I was at, you kind of drive slower because there's vehicles on both sides of the roads. And I had the straightaway. Well, there was a woman came flying through. She blew through her stop sign and hit me. And it spun us from one direction, 90 degrees, to another direction. And I just picked up my granddaughter. I was on my daughter's street still. I hadn't even gotten anywhere. And then this person was arrested under the influence. So, and it was around 1:30 in the afternoon. So like in hindsight, to look at something like that, there's so many, I don't know exactly what it was meaning, because I could take that as stopping my forward progression in life and then turning my direction. But at the other point of it, where I saw it coming from, it was like my truck was stopping this vehicle, because it was 1:30 in the afternoon. Not long after that, a school bus had driven by. So it's like, were there kids being, out playing? Because she was going way too fast to go from a stop sign to a little short block and another stop sign. So I stopped her for a progression, and I was not hurt. And my granddaughter was not hurt. I have bruising on my shoulder from my seatbelt. And then she has some marks on her from her car seat. So it's like, I find all this stuff. Before, I looked at it as interest. I mean, I would have looked at it as a victim standpoint, right? So now I'm looking at it like, okay, what does all of this mean? Also, I know that I had an
Just
attachment.
get your truck painted. Is that the same truck?
Yes, was in the process of redoing the whole vehicle, because I intended to keep it. So that's what I was gonna say. There's an attachment to that vehicle, right? I've had this vehicle since my kids were in junior high. So I'm doing all this stuff. And I think that I can tell you, looking at it now, there's been nice subtle messages like, it's time for this vehicle to go, right? It's time for this to go. And I know that, so if I'm thinking about the eclipse and we're bringing the darkness into the light, that means for all of us on an individual basis as well. That means anything that I have an attachment to, because attachments are not healthy, but that's something, it's just for me to let go, and I'm letting go of it. It just blows my mind. It's like, I look outside and it's like, I've had this truck for so freaking long. Like it was a 2003, and I think I got it in 2004. So I've had it, like it's been with me for all this time. And I've actually come to terms with it lately. Like I've been talking to my vehicle, because I believe that everything is energy. So I'm talking to my vehicle because it's energy, and I'm appreciating it. I'm telling them all this stuff, and I got a name for it, and for her, and for all this stuff. And it's like every time my truck would start doing something, I'd be like, "Oh, Angela, are you okay? Like, what's going on with you today? And do you need something?" Like talking to it the same way I would talk to my body, because it's energy.
Right.
Just because it's a vehicle doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's in existence. It's energetic. We're all energy. God, I could have been hopefully I wasn't a freaking like I don't know, a Dodge or something in another lifetime, but I'm just saying we could be anything, right? Everything is energy, is from my perspective. So it's like, holy smokes. So I've been talking to my vehicle, and then this happens. So there's like, to me, there's like mind blowing, because there's so many things so many messages. I feel like so many messages coming from this whole experience.
Well, do
And I
you
didn't
have
get
more
mad.
to share about it? What other stuff's coming forward for you?
How I'm handling things, I'm not having the anger about the whole thing. Instead of me looking at it as a victim, I'm looking at it as, I wonder what's going on. Why did this show up for me right now? I'm asking these kind of questions, and I'm appreciating that everybody walked away from the accident. If you saw my vehicle, it'd be hard to believe that we were even in a residential area that kind of a thing could happen. And it's like, I didn't see her. It's like she was there just before my vehicle touched hers. And then, it just totally wrecked my whole front end of my vehicle. So, and she had just bought the vehicle, or her husband had just bought the vehicle. So I don't even know if they have insurance, but I have insurance. I always make sure I'm covered for myself. So it's like, I got, even still right now with the whole process of this, it's letting go, because I don't know how it's going to all play out. It's just letting go and seeing, what does the universe have in store for me?
Because really right now you could be all up in a tizzy, you could be worried about stuff, you could be pissed. Like there's so many other stories that you could be, or ways of being that you could be doing right now. But how is that going to benefit? How is that going to be beneficial for your forward momentum?
True. Because it would,
Yeah.
where I'm at right now is a good benefit. And the thing is, my mind is not, like I said, it feels like it's kind of, I feel indifferent about this whole thing. I'm curious about it. I want to know what the person's name was. I want to find out if, what were they, if they were under the influence, like what was it? I'm curious. Like what was the numbers, or what was the just basic information. I know that, like I said, I know that everybody was safe. She came over to me afterwards, which I couldn't tell you even what she looks like, but she came over afterwards to check and make sure that I was okay. And it was just, it's not a bad space for me to be in right now, because I can see things from a different perspective. And that's what it feels like. I'm just seeing things from a higher perspective. There's always a reason for everything, right? I believe there is. There's no accidents, even though it's called an accident. It was supposed to happen, and maybe it was to stop, you think about it, because I'm always wanting to help people too, but maybe it was to stop her forward momentum, because maybe she's on a path of destruction, and it was to stop. Nobody got hurt. Everybody was safe. Everybody walked away safe.
And you're not probably ever going to know this, but just fathom the impact it's going to have on her life. Like, was it a wake-up call for her? Was it encouraging her to do something different, and that's better for her? Or is this an impact on the marriage, and it was already going south, and this is just one more negative mark? You just don't know, and it could go in so many different ways. Interesting.
Everything's interesting. I mean, to me, it is all interesting if we want to look at it as a child, right? Look at it with curiosity for the whole experience. So let's put that aside. So this happened after I had that dream. So let's go back to the where your mind's being blown because you must have had a dream with tornadoes or something in it.
I
So
even
crazy.
made notes about it in my cell phone so I could remember to put it in my dream book, which I haven't yet. It was the April 25th, the night of April 25th, or the morning of April 26th, whenever I was sleeping. There were 3 tornadoes. They were smaller in size, and they were like pretty straight.
Mhm.
And there was me, and it was like I was an adult. I don't know what age I was, or at that time, but I was an adult, and there were 2 kids. They weren't like my kids, but there were 2 kids in the yard playing, and I saw these 3 tornadoes, and they were moving pretty slow, nothing like crazy. And I just, I was like gathering them into the house, and then I was trying to cover up the windows with anything and everything I could find, that none of it would work. Like I did, the curtains, and then sheets and pillows and mattresses. Like I just kept putting all these different things, but like they just kept falling off for whatever reason. That was it. That was
And so my mind processes, so you're putting this up, but you're putting all these soft things up to protect you. Do you know what I mean? That could be so huge because to me, and I'm getting goosebumps, so I don't know, but the soft things, for me, that would be approaching things like even in everything in life. An example would be I heard about a person that was having these dreams and he kept fighting against these demons, right? We'll just call it demons. He was fighting against these demons, fighting them, and they kept coming back and they would demolish him and he'd come back to life again. This is in his, I mean, it was like a pretty aggressive dream. And then he turned it around where he just started sending love to it. So a softness to it, and everything just stopped, everything dissipated. Like that was the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, and it was just the idea that the force of the tornadoes could break the glass, and I was
Yeah,
just trying to protect us from any glass shattering.
with softness. Oh, gotcha. Because
Yeah.
everything you picked up was a softer thing.
Everything I picked up was soft, yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting. That's interesting. And in dreams, it's always to go by the emotions of how you felt in the dreams. Like, did you feel panicky or did you feel, you know what I mean?
It doesn't seem like I was panicked. It was just a rush. I got to get these windows covered so we're okay. But I wasn't
Gotcha.
concerned about like the roof falling, being taken off, or I
Yeah.
wasn't concerned about anything else. It was just the windows.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I know it's like my mind wants to break down all that stuff, why it's happening. Just like for my emotions, I was pretty much neutral. I was just looking at it and like how, like I'm processing it even in that space. I'm like rationalizing, like, how could they be that black? And how can there be so many of them? And they were so tall and skinny, but it was the same shape of a tornado. I mean, it was really those kind of shapes. It
And
was just,
tornadoes, if we think about it, tornadoes like a cleansing too, right? Because they just are
they could be,
clearing the
so
path,
destruction.
and they
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
destructive, but
Destructive and like, but that's like endings to beginnings, right? You know what I mean? That's all that, to me, that's just we're gonna hurry.
attachments.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and rip these band-aids off right now.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
This girl needs a new vehicle. We're gonna just rip that away from her.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, it's been interesting, but I like where I'm at, to be honest with you. I like where I'm at, regardless of how it all has played out. I've enjoyed the vehicle, so I found such a great appreciation. I'm even more appreciative of that vehicle now because I'm telling you, to receive the impact, even though I was driving at a lower rate of speed. I don't know what her rate of speed was, but for me to be driving at my speed and to be like, if you were to see the pictures of it, you'd be like, holy shit, like this is crazy. Like it is. It's probably totaled. I mean, if they tell me anything differently, I'll be surprised. But
what just came to my mind was speed can be destructive. So we try to speed things up. We try to do everything fast, right? We have internet, we want things fast. You go to fast food restaurant, you want it fast, right? Everything's fast, fast, fast. Okay, well, what if we just slowed down a little, did some deep breathing, just chilled the fuck out and enjoyed our moment? And it's not just that. It's get this done, what's next? Get this one done, what's next? It's constant. What's next? What's next? What's next? Instead of enjoying the process right now. So go into a fast food restaurant, instead of enjoying the interaction of somebody actually taking your order and encouraging each other to have a good day, it's the cashier is more concerned about getting your order done so that the cook and the servers can meet their time requirements that's placed on them by the corporate world, right? So because it all has an impact on the owner, and it's like, no, we got to slow down. We got to slow down, because when we are in a fast pace, I know this to be true for myself, because I just caught myself the other day doing it. When I'm trying to rush myself and hurry up and get something done, because I'm running late or got to get to the next thing, that's when we make the most mistakes. That's when we're constantly dropping things. That's when, you bump your head on something and now you got to tend to that, right? So maybe that's part of it. It's just going fast is destructive.
And then we don't know we can't see what was going to happen beyond that. If I would have made it through that thing, maybe there was something worse that was going to happen on the highway, or, you know what I mean? Something along those lines. Because we were in a good space. I had talked to my granddaughter. I was like, so do you want to take the back way or you want to go the highway? And she says highway. I'm like, okay. So we left the house and we were just headed on our way. So it was it's the whole progress was, it was just all stopped right there, which is, it's fine. I mean, I'm fine.
A reset.
Yeah. Because we don't know what's going to happen. And that's to look at it from a bigger picture too. It's like, we're in a space of energy, and this is a reminder for everybody. Just take the time, slow down, be in the now. Basically, my son-in-law's father just this morning was hit by someone else that was like a block or so from their house. They fell asleep while they were driving at the wheel. So it's like, it's honoring the body, right? It's listening to the body. When you're tired, if you feel that tired, pull over for a minute. Fall asleep for 10 minutes, take a quick cat nap, close your eyes and do some deep breathing, and then breathe. The thing is, we know I'm so close to home. I'm going to get there. I'm just going to lay down right there when I get home. And then not doing it. There's all these subtle messages. And I guess we could say these are subtle messages. That was a pretty big, it was a loud one, but it's even the whole process. I felt like I don't know. It's just, I can't even really describe it. It's like, it's almost like out of body stuff. I don't know. It just feels different. And the awesome thing is it feels good because there's no attachment to it.
Those attachments get us, don't they?
They do. So they do, but that's a good reminder too. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be a place, a thing, everything. And it's to let go. Which is funny because we've kind of talked about this a little bit, over our last few conversations about, back to the closet, having the clothes in the closet and then letting go of things so you can get new things to come in there. So it's just a matter of, I'm just in a space of letting go. I don't know where this is going to play out, how it's going to play out. I know now I'm very lucky because I already had another vehicle. You know what I mean? I have my Toyota still. So I'm very lucky because I have one vehicle into another vehicle. It's just not a, not
what? It could be like something major was going to happen to your truck.
Yes, I do believe that.
Right. And this is,
yes. And I wasn't listening because I wasn't ready to let it go because I figured I'll just sell the Toyota, get like 20 for it, and then do some of the whatever repairs that might need to have been done on my Ford.
Yeah.
And because it was paid and clear, I would just have it. No big deal. But I think it was letting me know that it was time for it to go.
Yeah.
All along it's been letting me know. But we had tried to sell it a couple of times recently, and it's like people would back out or they'd
you
want
weren't
want me
ready.
to carry it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So the attachment, I mean, attachments are interesting because like you're just saying, when we have a grasp onto something that we aren't ready to let go of, somehow the universe creates a way for us to have to let it go.
yeah.
Or if we have something that we're grasping that we're thinking about letting go, then like you said, there's people that are interested, but something, and it's your energy that prevents the transaction from happening. Yeah. So it's being aware of when you're ready to let something go, to let it go from a space of excitement or joy or ease. Because so let's just say it's some clothing in my closet, and I begrudgingly let this, that like they're nice clothes, and I know just someday I'm gonna fit into them again, and it's just really kind of saddening. Or it could be another I'm not good enough story, because these are a size 8 and I'm in a size 12, and so the not good enough that I allowed myself to get heavier, right? and and so that energy that I'm feeling is going into these clothes, and now I'm going to give them away. Like, yeah, so we want to send some good vibe and energy into those clothes or the vehicle or whatever it is, that whatever you're going to give away or sell, that you get your energy in alignment with releasing. Because otherwise something a little more dramatic could happen, right?
Yeah.
To help you along to really let go of that.
Well, and because I was in that process, right? So for a long time, I was really hating that truck because I loved it when I first got it. And over the last year, I kept trying to do things, trying to fix it, trying to do different things like redo the interior. And it's like you couldn't find the parts for it because it's in between. Ford doesn't produce the parts anymore. And then it hasn't been old enough for them to start creating the parts again, which it takes a couple more years. There were so many of these things in the last couple of months. I think when I had realized how much everything is all energy, I started appreciating the vehicle. I started telling the vehicle, thank you for all the times they've got me around and always protected me and keeping me safe, and still protected me and kept me safe. All these things. So I was in a process of going through this, I want to say reckoning, but not really a reckoning, but going through this process of appreciation, liking the vehicle, and so like if you think about it as far as the energy, not having a karmic energy with something bad anymore. So if my relationship was with that vehicle, we actually came to terms and we were getting along and everything was working out very well, and all the way up to the end that vehicle protected me. So it's like there was and that gives me goosebumps, and there was it's just such a blessing, because it's like I said, I've been communicating with it. And I told my daughter that yesterday on the way home, and she's like, Mom, are you okay?
Bump your head.
That's what she asked me, and I said, no, I'm fine. And I checked my head to make sure I didn't bump it. The most that I have is probably being jarred, going from that speed and then spun, like 90 degrees, and then around. So it's like, it was a little bit interesting, but no, for me, it's been it's huge. And I still feel good about it. It's just weird. For me, I guess the weird part is for me to feel good about where I'm at right now with everything that happened.
Yeah.
That's just odd. It's odd because that's not my programming, how I used to do things. But this is me now. This is me now. This is how we can process things in life and be more curious about it. And I'm super excited because I don't know where this goes. I don't know what's going to come from this. I don't know. And that's for probably one of the first times in my life I'm excited. I'm not worried about this. I did everything I could, I did. Besides, I don't know what would have changed the outcome of that, honestly. I just feel like it was I think I just like with a lot of things in life, I feel like it was a necessary thing. And it's for growth. Like everything that comes up in our experiences is for growth, if we so choose.
When I'm thinking about you spinning and you say going in a different direction, you've been doing that with your business as well. Like you're going to continue doing massage for a little while. You don't know how long that's going to be, but you're interested in other things that can enhance the massage experience or take you in a whole different direction with your clientele. So there's so many, right? So many.
Yeah, when you say that, what hits me is I'm going to be going in a different direction. Because I've been playing with the massage. So we think about that. We've been talking about this too, to really have an awareness of like your likes and dislikes, which sounds so, I don't know what I like and what I don't like. How do you go through your life like that? But when I just kind of let go of everything, so just like the vehicle, when I let go of having an expected outcome on each of my clients, like how things are going to turn out, because I can't have an expected outcome, honestly. I could do all the healing in the world. I could be the greatest healer on the planet, but people are here on their own free will and they're going to have their own thoughts, and they're going to, whether they decide to maintain those thoughts or not. But I've gotten to the point where I'm not concerned. I'm happy to share my information. If you're in my room and in my space and on my table and I'm giving you a massage, information's coming forward, and I don't restrict that anymore. I think before I was kind of, especially I have people that are new coming in, and I was, I guess, worried. I didn't realize that I was, but I was worried about saying something that was going to offend them and that I would be judged and they wouldn't want to come see me anymore. And now I'm at a point where I'm just telling them exactly what I see and exactly what I feel. And it's crazy because it's like I'm having people come up to me and like, oh my God, I can't, they don't even show me any response in front of my face, like a confirmation. I just know that I'm getting this information. They'll say something and then walked up to me recently and she's like, oh my God, after I left you, I cried and cried and cried. And she says, I'm not hurting in that space anymore. I had that release because of what you told me. And it was like, it's just giving me goosebumps again, but it was awesome. So yeah, so I know that it's going in a different direction. I totally know that it's going in a different direction.
Yeah.
But
And
where yet, I don't know. We just play.
you got to think too, like you don't advertise. So most of your clientele are from word of mouth.
Yeah, all of it.
So
Yeah.
if I have an amazing experience, like I get on your table and you do a massage and you're telling me this information, I'm like, holy hell, she just totally impacted my life because of what she said, not what she did.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And then I go tell somebody, I'm like, oh my gosh, Beverly is so cool, right? And I tell my experience, and now they go, but they get a massage because you're holding yourself back. And it's like,
exactly.
Exactly. So yeah. So whatever you did for me, sister, you better be doing it for everybody. So I guess that's what they're coming for. They're coming for that connection, that compassion, that dialogue, that conversation, right there. That's what they're coming for, because through that is where the release of the tissues and the stored information is released.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause as I was working on another person, she was telling me, I was telling her, I'm like, oh, I said, man, have you been really super tired lately? Like exhausted? You could barely keep your eyes open because I'm feeling all this while I'm working on her. And
you're like, said, over, I'm going to lay next to you.
Almost, right? And then all of a sudden my throat gets all tight, that dry feeling. And I'm like, ugh. And I said, you're not drinking enough water. Like you're not drinking enough water. I said, you are chronically dehydrated. You need to hydrate yourself. I gave her some different ideas what to do. And she's like, oh my God, Bev, like you are, I don't even know what to say right now. You're just blowing my mind. I'm like, I'm just going to share it. But then we go back to the same thing. So if I matched with that energy, so if I dip down and matched with the energy of my person that comes in and has all these pains, and I blend myself into their energy, now I'm no longer capable. So for everybody, we're no longer capable to help that person at a higher level or higher vibrational frequency to actually help that person. So we go back to the space of love, right? Being in that space of love. So and it's awesome because before I felt like a lot of people being empathic, you feel all these things. And it's like, then I would be, after that, I'd have been so tired. And now I no longer, I just feel the stuff, I tell them. So as soon as I express to them what I'm feeling, I don't feel the symptoms for me are gone,
Right.
like completely gone. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
if I would have kept that, so in the past, I have kept that stuff. Now being at a gas station and I'm looking at a woman over across me and she looked very, from an outward perspective, she looked very angry, attitude, like all these things. But I had noticed her doing stuff, and then probably very shortly, she hadn't even left yet, my stomach started hurting so bad, like so bad. I was going to go do things and I couldn't go do those things, and I went home. If I had walked over and like talked to her and like said, is everything okay, do you need anything, because I'll, believe it or not, it may sound crazy to say stuff like that, like you're going to walk up to someone. Well, hell yeah. I'm walking into Walgreens the other day and there's a girl, she's like carrying, her hands are full, and she's like, oh my gosh. She had called a cab and she said, this is amazing. This lady just pulled right up here at the front doors for me to get in here. And I'm like, do you need some help opening the door? And she's like, oh my God, now there's just people offering all this help, because that just goes to show where she was at in the space of appreciation. But when we vibrate higher, we see things like that, and it doesn't hurt to say things like that. I don't know, just everything feels different. Before I would have been afraid. My first words, I would have been afraid to go help because it would have been judged. They may have been like, what do you, get out of here? What are you doing?
What do you want? Are you
exactly. But no, it's listening to this guidance that we have within inside of ourselves, and it's there all the time. And the more you listen to it, the louder it is.
So I want to go back to what you said about dipping down into the vibration of your client and then being able to release it. Cause I'm processing in my head, like, do you think that so when they come to you, I mean, you're typically in a higher vibration than they are. And I'm not saying that you're better than they are or nothing. It's just, you've been practicing this for a while. And do you think that they've been in their energy and their vibration for such a long time that they don't know how to raise their vibration, or they're not giving, maybe they know how, but they're not practicing it to be able to shift their way of being, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual, right? So they come to you with somebody who is at a higher vibration. And it's like, do you really think it's like you're dipping into their energy, or do you just feel like you're at a space that you can sense it and be able to say, hey, this is what I'm sensing. And because you're at a higher vibration, you can release it because it's not yours and guide them. Like, do you still think it's like dipping into their energy, or it's just, you're just at a space where you're just like, hey, it'd be like a teacher grading a paper. Like they look at the paper and you're like, oh, well, this one's not right. Just by looking at it, it's not that they're dipping into the mind that did the work. They can just see it because they've been practicing it for so long. Does that make sense?
It does, but I didn't finish. I get, sometimes my mind goes off on processes.
No,
I could have dipped in. So I could dip into their energy and stay in that energy, but I don't anymore. I don't even dip into their energy. I stay in my high vibration, and then I recognize their energies, and then I just tell them exactly what I'm feeling.
It might also be that you're at a higher vibration because now you can receive the information.
Yes. And
right?
It's a practice, like you said, it's a practice. So I practice maintaining in that space. It doesn't have to be a practice all the time, because I feel like it's a natural thing. So I'm in that space of doing that naturally. Before, I would dip into their space. So if I was up in a high energy, I would take myself all the way down. So that's why I say dip, and then I would match that energy. Well, I can't bring myself up that fast if I'm focused on staying in that energy.
Right.
So my focus is to be in that space of love, to be in that high energy. Then it goes back to, I feel like the client needs to be seen and heard. So when a person says they're exhausted or whatever, because people say things all the time, they have these comments and stuff, but for me, I could feel exactly what they were feeling and put that into words so that they had an understanding. And then I was able to give her some, whatever information flowed through me to let her know that, hey, this is what you need to do. but it is a processing. It anymore, before I would have stayed in that energy, and anymore I just stay in my vibration, and I tell the person what I'm feeling, and it's like immediately I don't feel those feelings anymore. They don't stay with me. Before, they would have stayed with me because
Right.
I would have taken that on. I would have taken that energy on as my own.
And that's, I mean, I can process this with you because it's the same thing as what I experienced when I do Reiki with
Yeah.
clients. Because before, when I was learning Reiki, that exhausted person would come in and I would just be like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I just seriously wanted to just lay down because I couldn't handle it because I was taking it on. Whereas when you get yourself into a space where you're maintaining your own energy, you can sense it, but you, as quick as you sense it, you're like, this, you know, this isn't mine. That's what I tell my angel. I'm like, okay, angels, this isn't mine. You can take it back. You know, give it back. So
Yeah.
but then we maintain that higher state, and then able to give the guidance for that person to do or not to do, right? They have a choice. And so but we're in that space because it's important that we keep our vibration high so we can receive the information from divine guidance to share, because we're messengers. We're healers, we're messengers. We can encourage people to heal all day long, but we can't make them do it. That's the only thing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's in the little tiny print of the universe.
So you think about my space, right? So, and it's not just my space. If you think about it as my space, but it's my energy. It's your space. It's walking into your energy, saying hi to you. If I'm in a high vibration, so we go back to the whole world thing too. If I'm in a high vibration, anything that comes into that vibration, you know, you go back to those little, I can't remember what they're called. They go tick, 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 back and forth to keep in the beat.
Yeah.
In my mind right now, but anyways,
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it gets that rhythm. So if I'm at this rhythm and I'm in a great space, I'm elevated, I'm higher up right now, higher up as far as I'm in a state of happiness and joy and love and angels and whatever. And then you got a person that comes in, they may not match me right that moment, but when they come in and stay in my space for a little bit, their energy raises up naturally and it starts vibrating at the same rate of speed. So the understandings are higher. When they leave my space, it wouldn't matter if we had a conversation. I did a tarot reading, an angel card reading, a massage. I just sat and talked to them, and whatever information came forward, whatever I want to label that as, which I won't right now. Anything that I do like that, because now that person's now in an open and receiving, because if I'm open and receiving, the person now is becoming open and receiving. They leave there and they feel so much better. They've always said that. Now I have an understanding of it. And even that, because as you were telling me this, then my mind was gravitating towards different information that you were putting out there, because as they do come in, they shift. That is like a visible shift that I can see the other person going through. And they'll be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. We are so amazing. It's not because I'm not accepting of the appreciation or the compliment. It's because we all are. It's like, I feel like people need to be reminded of that as well, because I'm not better than the other person. I'm just, like you said earlier, we're not better than another person. We're just maintaining a higher vibration. Our focus is being in a higher vibration. And stuff still happens.
And it's a co-creation because you did the work for yourself to get you to where you're at, and created this business, massage business. And people, again, we go back to asking. They're asking for relief in some way, whether, again, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, doesn't matter. They're asking for relief in some way. A friend says, hey, I've had a massage by Bev. She's amazing. You should go see her. You got to make an appointment. Bev's like, yeah, I'm 2 months out because I'm so incredibly awesome. So they make the appointment and they know it. They feel it. And I'm telling you, there's nobody who could deny this. They feel as soon as they walk through that threshold of the door. As soon as that door opens and they step that first step in through the doorway, they feel it already. And then the conversation happens, right? So what they feel first and foremost is the energy that they are stepping into. and they notice the difference from how they were before they walked in and how they were as soon as they stepped in. Like you just feel this calmness and loving energy in this room. And that's what they're feeling right away. And because I know it for myself, because I walk in there all the time. I was like, whew, this is so good. I'm just gonna stay here for like a couple hours. That it's almost like when they walk through that threshold, they feel that energy, like a wall just melts away. That protective layer that they've been hanging on to around everybody else. They walk into your space, and it's just like it almost crumbles or melts away in that moment, like just for that moment while they're there. And then it opens them up and allows them to hear what you have to say or feel what they have to feel, whether it's their emotions or the energy, whatever it is. It's just breaking down that barrier. I mean, we've all probably created one at some point in our life.
Absolutely.
But giving them the opportunity to feel that. And now they know, right? Now gives them a very good distinction of what they don't like and what they like.
Exactly.
Don't like the stress of my job. I love going to Bev because I feel so good, right? It's a physical sensation and an emotional sensation that they're experiencing, whether they're actually giving attention to that or not, because they may not even be able to define that yet.
Exactly.
But they're having that experience, and you provide that for them. You provide the space for. I'll say they don't even need the massage. There doesn't even need to be any kind of work changed.
No,
they just need to go in there. They can just go in there and sit.
Yeah. And then if you think about that, we are that room. Do you know what I mean? We are that energy. And so that's how it's palpable. That's how people can actually physically feel like there's a difference. I have guys even walk in and like, oh, this is really nice. I mean, that's just not there. A lot of guys wouldn't feel
right.
I mean, wouldn't look at that room the way it's set up and feel like that was nice, because I don't know. It's just not something that they would see, but the energy is different in there.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with all of us when we're in these spaces, because we can be in that space. That energy of the room can stay in that space all the time.
Right.
Because it doesn't have beliefs, or it's not like making up things or running through crap in their mind and trying to create something else that's not even true, or staying on a freaking cycle of this is bullshit to be here at this time and space reality and whatever. It doesn't have that. It doesn't, that space has no attachment to everything. It's just a loving, uplifted space that we can be, because we have been in that, we've been there, or that space wouldn't be. I mean, we've been in that space, or that energy wouldn't be in that space.
Right.
Because we've created that space. It hasn't just been me, it's been you. We've created that space and raised the vibration up of that space.
Yeah.
And so that space doesn't have any concerns or worries about, oh, such and such isn't going to like me anymore. And this is, whatever. It's a high vibrational space.
Right.
It gets to maintain that, which is such a great example for us, because we can maintain that as well. If I can be in the space that I'm at right now and go through the accident and stuff and all that stuff yesterday, and still be in this place where I'm at right now and still feel like I'm fine and safe, because that's the thing, that room felt safe.
Right.
I felt safe in my vehicle because I had this energy of appreciation about this vehicle. Just like you're saying, being in your home, it's appreciation. All those things raise the vibration of the frequency of the space that you're in, but it raises our vibration. We get to go higher and higher and higher, and it feels good. There's no going backwards. There really isn't.
Yeah.
We can only go forward from here.
And I like that you said safe, because I think most people want to feel that.
They don't.
Along with feeling loved and accepted, they want to feel safe.
Yeah.
We've been we've had so many experiences that has been the opposite. So, and then now we have to distinguish who feels safe and who doesn't. So we're on high alert for that. And it's more than it's a higher alert than your intuition. I feel that when you're in survival and you're trying to decide who's safe and who is not, it's not an intuitive thing.
Oh no, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
It feels, yeah, it feels bigger, a lot bigger than that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's beyond, it's connection, right? It's beyond intuition. It's like complete connection, really.
Yeah. And so when we take the time to nurture our own energy, then we can step into feeling the feels, right? Feeling who feels safe. And it's not a I know or I think they're safe. And that's what, in that room, your massage room, I mean, it just feels safe. It really does.
Yeah. It's awesome. You know, that brings me into the next thing. So the vibration of the space is a higher frequency, right? And in life, we maintain these higher frequencies, and it's not for me to be doing that like 100 hours a week, because that feels good to me, right? It's being in harmony and balance. I started playing it's a game I play on my phone. I don't play it all the time. And before I would have said, oh, you're distracting yourself, you're wasting your time. I want to change that perspective a bit, because what hit me was it's balance, right? So if I'm always looking for spirituality, then I'm overly focused on one area. I'm not creating a balance through everything, like a harmony. Maybe I clean the house for an hour. Maybe I go do a couple hours massage, because when I do massage, I'm in my spirituality. I'm in this connection. For me, there's no questioning it anymore. I love doing the massages because for me, I get this information, this energy flows through me that feels so freaking amazing. It just does. The whole process is amazing. So then I go to this game and I'm playing the game, and it's like I'm laughing because it was funny, because we're in a group and we talk to each other and stuff like that. And I was like, really, why was I beating myself up or saying, oh, you're playing a video game? How much time are you wasting on that? What are you doing? And it's not a matter of that. It's not a waste of time. If I'm enjoying myself and I'm going and playing and having a good time, and it's in balance with everything else that I'm doing in life, it all feels good. It's not there's not a problem with that. We get so focused on these things, like we've got to do all these things a certain way. And I'm recognizing that's not even true. It's what feels good. It's what feels good in all moments. If you're shopping and shopping and shopping, and after a while you're like trying to find things and you're not enjoying yourself anymore, it's time to walk away. If I'm playing the game and I'm not enjoying myself, I walk away. I give myself a break. But it's about having harmony and balance with all that stuff. I'm reading books, I'm doing my massages, I'm listening to podcasts, we get our conversations, we interact with each other, which I love these conversations. And I have them more frequently with clients that come in. They're open and to receiving all this information that's coming in all the time now, which is huge. That's like pat yourself on the back to even be able to receive this stuff that's going on right now. It's just like it's such a glorious time to be in, really, to be able to receive all this stuff. And I think that's the longest time we've all been. You can't have a million givers and no receivers. Someone's got to be receiving, but that's the thing. Most people have learned to be fixers and givers, and not learning how to receive. I just wanted to say that, because everything kind of complements each other. It's not if you enjoy it and I say don't go do it. If it makes you happy, freaking go do it. Like if it feels good for you, do it. I don't know all the answers to everything, and I'm just learning everything as I go as well. It's just enjoying the moments and being able to recognize all this stuff.
And there's a difference, because you keep saying, do it if it feels good, do it if it feels good. And that is, if it's raising your vibration, it's encouraging you to laugh, it's encouraging you to feel relaxed, it's encouraging you to just feel good. Okay. That is different than being in an addiction.
Exactly different.
An addiction doesn't feel good. An addiction is distraction. An addiction is a cover up. It's a Band-Aid for not wanting to feel your feels. You're an escaping from.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified for people. Because I know people who play games on their phone as a distraction because they don't want to be with themselves.
Yeah. But it's a harmony thing, right? It's a more of a balance and harmony thing. It's not an addiction would be like, oh, I'm at work. I really want to go play my game. I want to go to the bathroom real quick.
Right.
I'm play my game for a few
Right.
minutes. And that doesn't feel good. It
And
doesn't
it's
feel
the
good.
same. It's the same with
Yeah.
whether it's tobacco, alcohol, shopping, sex. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can have sex and it feels really good and great and exciting, or there's an addiction to it because you're only being fulfilled for a brief moment of dopamine to help you feel good for a split second. So just like
Yeah.
nicotine, you get the nicotine in you, but it wears off. And so can you be in that space of I feel good, I am enjoying my life, I can laugh and I can feel love, whether I'm having sex or I'm playing a video game or I'm having a conversation with somebody or I'm sitting by myself in a room or I'm reading a book. It's like know the difference.
So wonderful. It is.
So
It
good.
was just nice to recognize that kind of, really all those kind of things. Because before I would have chastised my inner child for like, why are you doing that? And it's like I'm not in that space now because it's just different. I'm just enjoying things. And that's the thing. So go to what I've been saying. I've been enjoying massage. I'm enjoying massage. So I'm appreciating massage. And we always talk about how you appreciate and you enjoy things like that. You bring more things to appreciate and more things to enjoy. I'm having these great conversations with people. I was in Safeway yesterday before I went to go pick up my granddaughter. Getting the cashier, she's telling me, she says something about nice arms or something like that. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And she says, well, because I have to, these are her conversations. She says, because I love myself, I can appreciate everybody else. And then she's telling me that, like, she's telling me all these things that we talk about all the time. And it's like, I've never had this conversation with her for her to know any of this stuff, but it just goes to show you these things show up all the time. Because I appreciate those conversations. And I'm talking about it right now and I'm passionate about it. I've got energy that's going in the direction of it's creating more for me to have. I'm going to have more of these conversations, these co-creation, right? We're co-creating these realities when we have these conversations that we're building upon. And I'm so excited about all the stuff that's going on with me right now. And when we deal with something or we look at something that we like with appreciation and excitement, we're creating more of that. So it's like for everyone to just feel like even what we've been talking about, to feel our conversation, like to listen to it and see how it feels inside of you. Because you should, if you're paying attention to how you're feeling, your vibration is going to raise, your frequency is going to raise, because it's just like walking into the space that we've created, because we've created this space right here, right now.
And I just want to say, the more that you are enjoying what you do for your business, so being a massage therapist, the more you enjoy that, the more your clients feel that, right? So
Absolutely.
it affects everything. It affects you, your clients, your space, your home environment, your family, your friends, because that's what you're carrying with you.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I know. I like it.
And that's similar to me, if I'm creating a class, if I'm angry and I'm creating a class, that energy is going to go into when I post it out there for marketing. And people aren't going to be attracted to that. And if they are, it's going to be the people who are angry. And then we're all going to show up and I'll be like, what the hell's wrong with all these people? Because I'll be in a different energy by then. So,
Or they won't show up because you will be in a different energy by then, right?
right. Exactly. So
Because there's not a match now.
energy is just so funny. It's great. It's interesting. It's fun. It's funny.
It's everything.
It's embracing the whole shebang, really.
It is. It is. I was working on a client and I kept trying to say injury and I couldn't, every time it came out of my mouth, it was energy. And she's like, Bev, just realize it's a Freudian slip. You mean energy. And I said, well, because it is all energy. If you have injury in your body, it is energy. All it is a buildup or a blockage of energy in that space of your messenger, your body trying to give you the messages of, hey, listen to me. That's all it is. I got a message for you.
Yeah. How are you going to hear it? How are you going to receive it? What are you going to do with the information, right?
Yes.
In that message.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is good. I love it.
I do too. I love it too. Well, I want to shout out to all the moms. Shout out to all the moms for Mother's Day. And we also honor those who are mothers who don't have their children here in physical form anymore. And that's okay, because they are still in energy, they're in spirit, and we're still connected to them. And if you are in your present moment, you will feel them, you will receive the messages from them. And it's those moments. What I'm recognizing is the more I acknowledge the messages that I'm getting, the more exciting it is, and the more of them I get. It's not that the more I get, it's the more I see, the more I acknowledge.
Yes.
I just want to give an example of this because it was so damn funny. So damn funny. So my mother-in-law and I planned a trip, and we're going to go. I don't know if I can tell these details yet or not. Shoot. Anyway, we planned this trip. I'll just be vague. And so two numbers I see all the time is 444 and 624. All the time. And so, I mean, it was so easy to plan this trip. It was so easy. And it came together so smoothly. And we did it like within a couple hours. Like it was done, right? Nice. And then that night, Saturday night, we're going out to hang out with some friends. And we come to a stop sign where a car pulled out and kind of in front. I mean, there was a lot of distance between us, but they pulled out in front of us. And one of the places we're going is the license plate. Okay.
Oh.
The name of the state is the license plate. And we get out to where we're going. It was a big group. We went to a bonfire and it was a big group of people. And there was like 2 vehicles there. The name's on the license plate. Songs come on. The name is in the songs, right? It's just hysterical. In conversation that night, still conversation is somebody was telling a story about something and they're like, it was 6:24 a.m. I'm like, of all the numbers they could have said for a time, right? Yeah. The next day, her and I, we went to Flagstaff. So Sunday morning we get up, we go to Flagstaff. Car after car, same name, same state, right? Okay. So I'm like, this is just, all right, you guys are overdoing it now. I get it, right? A vehicle passed, like a Dodge Charger or something went by. It was the state that we're going, and 444 is on the license plate. I'm just beside myself. I'm just like, this is so hysterical and so damn funny. We get a little further up the road and the van comes by me and gets in front of me. Another state we're going to is on the license plate. I'm just like, you guys are good. And I'm good because I'm in the flow of receiving all these messages.
Absolutely.
And it was just so fun. And it's just been constant. When we were coming back from Flagstaff, you know how they have the mile at like Los Angeles. Well, it said I'm leaving Flagstaff. There's a sign that says Los Angeles, 444 miles.
Nice.
Like, I can't make this stuff up because this is just so incredibly fun. So it's around us all the time.
Yeah. And confirmations. And that's when our path, we're always looking for an easy path. No, I can't say that. A lot of people, if you recognize that everything kind of lines up and it's an easy, everything kind of just works out effortlessly, and you start getting all these signs. It's just like when I went to Phoenix to go to this QT or QHHT session for myself, a personal thing. I see a vehicle in front of me and it says aligned. I knew that I was aligned on my path. Like, there's all these messages that are around all the time. And that's how fun and exciting everything can be. Our journey can be that fun and exciting if we have an awareness of it.
Right.
And then we're appreciating the journey. Because we all came here because we wanted to be here, and we're actually lucky to be here. So we really are.
Yeah. So I just really want to point out that we're receiving these messages all the time. That my grandfather shows up around me with his cigarette smoke. I'm telling you, I have to leave the room and go get a breath of fresh air because it's that strong. But they're with us all the time. So your mamas who's their children are in spirit, embrace your love for them and with joy. And when you are visual, it's like we talked about this before. In fact, we have a video. It's called The Chicken or the Egg. So it's like, are you thinking of them and their image is coming into your mind, or are they thinking of you and their image is coming into your mind? Right. So it's like, doesn't matter. The fact is that's a message that they're with you. Or you just in a moment look over and you see look at their picture. That's because they want you, right? They're sending that message. Hey, I'm here. And yeah, it's a picture, but the energy that gave you that moment to look over at that picture, that force, that energy is them. And so just embrace it.
It's a nudge, right? It's a nudge.
Right.
Yeah. Also recognizing, I had a client in recently and she's talking about, so if we want to go to the whole mom thing, her daughter passed a couple of years ago. And we were talking about all this stuff. She had transitioned. She was older, but she said, I just had a dream about her and she was young. And I said, well, a lot of times they'll come through at the time that they were the happiest. Yeah. So, and for me, it was like, so you find a picture of her at that age and you put that picture out. It's not because it's only because that's where they're at right now. And they're probably celebrating in that space in their heaven, whatever we want to call it. They're in that space and this is the age they were happiest at. So they celebrate at that age and they like to be seen at that age. It's that's something that kind of came through the other day. I'd heard it from a psychic that I had listened to, a psychic medium talking about stuff like that. And when I'm telling this person that those things, that she's still with you. And I knew that she was holding on to things because that's how the conversation, it all came through for me to be able to tell her all these things. But it was an awesome thing to know. And for me, it's not always easy because the physical is not here anymore, the physical of seeing that. But when you start learning the light language, whatever we want to call it, that other language, it's like, man, they're always with you. They're always here. Those are just that's just a subtle way of letting you know, hey, remember when I was a kid, put that picture when I had the pigtails in my hair, put that picture out. That's the one every time you look at it, I want you to think about that. Not when I was sick, not how I died, not how you're processing things now. So it's just to be in that space. And gosh, Mother's Day is, I would probably have to say most children are contacting their parents, their step parents, their foster parents, whoever raised them, that they felt the bond connection with them. They're there all the time. It's like, those are the things, like, if that happens to you, put a post up underneath let us know how you were communicated or how you received your communication, because it's awesome and it's happening. Yeah.
Again, the more you acknowledge it, the more you're going to be aware of more that's coming. Like, you're going to be in the flow of receiving even more messages.
Yes. It's like they're like, I've been talking to you this whole time. Yeah. You're finally starting to hear me.
For 20 years. And now, yay, you're finally getting the message. Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Let's play. Um, I want to go back because you said something about you listened to a psychic about and received information, and then now here comes a person attracted to you who needed that message, who needed that information. So again, this is just another example of how when we raise our vibration, where we get into a higher vibrational state, that we receive the information. We're in that space to receive. And
Yes.
then we become beneficial to others because we're going to attract. Now I have this information, which is energy. And now I have this new energy within me that I'm processing, that I'm filtering. And then I attract, or somebody is attracted to me, and we have a conversation. And it just so happens, I just heard this, let me share it with them because apparently they need to hear it. Right now I become the messenger. And so that's another example of just being in a different space with yourself to receive and be in service, whatever that looks like. I know in our businesses, we're receiving information all the time because universe knows these people are going to be coming to us, and we need to know. Not only do we need to know the information for ourselves, because obviously we're asking, but if we're asking, then there must be many more people asking the same question or similar question. We just happen to be the receiver of that information. We were in alignment with receiving it. We were in alignment with processing it. And then now people are coming to us.
Yes.
Right. And so now we become the messengers and the resource. And so, because it's divine guidance.
It is.
Right. We talk about divine guidance, receiving the information from divine guidance. These other people, they're asking the question, but they're not there. And it's not that they're not doing it. It's just, they haven't yet aligned with receiving divine guidance. They want the human person to be that messenger. So receive, now people are coming. So I just wanted to hit up on that because you had mentioned it.
Nice. And what comes to me when you say that, divine flow, it's being in the divine flow, honestly, because it's always being there. And it's our natural state. Like, was it last week I was saying, like, I was talking about, this is our natural state. Our vibration being a high vibrational frequency is a natural state for us. As long as and that's where you step aside and let your mind kind of, like, we don't need to be operating from this space right now. We're not analyzing any information. We're receiving divine flow. Divine flow knows what information needs to come forward, whether it's a message from a loved one, whether it's a message, hey, you need to be drinking more water, whether it doesn't matter. But when we're in that space, we're so much more beneficial for ourselves and everybody else. And when you're in that space, you're constantly in that divine flow. It's constantly flowing through you. So it's like you're not giving or taking, you're just flowing.
Yes. I love it.
And I do too.
Love it. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here, for listening to us. We do this for us. This is our therapy session. This is our weekly therapy session for each other, our processing, contemplation, whatever you want to call it. That's why Bev and I are here. But it delights us to be able to share it with you as well. So thank you for the internet for allowing us to do that. If you know somebody who could be, who's in a space that they're asking questions and would benefit from the information as well, please let them know we're here, that we have lots of videos that you could watch at any time to receive whatever it is you need in the moment. And we appreciate you. So thank you.
Yes. And it's just take it all as teaching. This is all teaching information. It's all, you're also learning how to have a conversation with someone that's deeper than how's the weather. It's also, there's such a learning process through the whole thing. Cause I wasn't always this open, or even processing my emotions or having an understanding about how I'm feeling or why I'm feeling these things. And also at the same time not knowing. So I'm willing to share this, and it's like whatever information comes forward, it's like if I'm coming from a loving space, it's always going to come to me, back to me in a loving space. So it's like, thank you. Thanks for showing up.
There you go. Thank you. All right, my friends. Again, happy Mother's Day. Even to those papas who are playing mama.
Yes,
And we'll see you next time.
that's right.